Yes. All right. Now we're going to talk about percent yield here. Now this is very easy. Okay. This one you don't want to miss this question. This question's guaranteed SOL question. You do not want to miss this question. It's a piece of cake. This is a matter, Miss Farnham, of pure terminology. Okay. What is percent yield? Percent yield is the actual yield divided by the theoretical yield. Of course, it's time multiplied by 100, right? Times 100. What is the actual yield? Say it again. It is a lot like percent error. It is like the theoretical yield is 100% no error, zero error. The actual yield is what you actually produce, so the difference is your percent error. Exactly. That's exactly right. It's like the inverse of percent error, I guess, right? Right. But anyway, get some sort of definition in your mind what actual value is. The actual value is, I'm going to say what you measured, okay? What you measured on the bench. And the thing I think that confuses people, Ms. Hinton, is in these questions, when we're just talking about questions, the actual value has to be given to you, right? It has to be given to you. So people, you sort of forget that this is what you actually produced in the lab. In the lab, it's pretty easy because you go to all this exercise, you go through all these efforts to measure out how much you produced, and it seems sort of real to you. But in the problem is it has to be given to you, right? Now, the theoretical yield is calculated. I'm going to try to write that carefully. Calculated from what? From the balanced equation, right? In other words, this is the pie in the sky. And in our case, in this question we did, we're going to compare this to right now, we had to go from the limiting reactant, right? So in our problem there, that problem number 19, on number 19, we calculated that we were going to produce, we could produce, the question said, how much potassium chloride can you produce? We calculated that we could produce 187.94 grams, right? Everybody with me there? That is the theoretical yield, right? Everybody with me there? That is 100% of what you can produce. Make sense? Does, doesn't it? Now, what I gave you over here was, in this question, I said, okay, if you actually produced, what did I say, 175 grams? 175 grams of potassium chloride, then what is the percent yield? No, I'm saying you produced 175 and your theoretical yield is 187.94. So what is percent yield? Percent yield equals the actual yield divided by the theoretical yield times 100. So what is it? 175 over 187.94 times 100, which gives you what? 93.114. Is that what he said? Percent? Now, in our original equation, you were given three significant figures. Here we've got 5, 4, 5, 5, so we got to drop to 4. Okay, so we'd say here we would say if you were given these figures, we'd say 90. Whoops, we would say 93 point what? 11, right? If we're going to four significant figures. Okay, and that's it for percent yield. Now, here's a more difficult question: is let's suppose that you were given the percentage, and they say, okay, according to the balanced chemical equation above, so on, so on and so forth, you have a 93.11% yield. What was your actual yield? You understand that? Yes? If we're going to solve here, if we're solving, it says what was your actual yield, then the actual yield equals what? According to this equation. It equals the percent yield multiplied by theoretical yield. And people will drop that ball all day long. I don't know why. That's your A1, M1, Algebra 1, isn't it? Okay? But there's no more to that. There's no more to this percent yield, actual yield than that right there. Okay? And you can see that that can be asked 100 different ways. What is your percent error here? If this is your percent yield, 6.89, right? So that gives you a 6.89% error. Now, that's not the best way to calculate percent error, but that's essentially what it is. And this is realistic. This is a realistic problem in that manufacturers and so on, they're constantly trying to maintain their manufacturing effort at the highest percent yield they possibly can. That's how you make more money, right? The more efficient it is. But there's nothing more difficult about this. This is just practice, okay? You have to practice this. You have to remember which term is which. The one you calculate is the theoretical yield. That's 100%. You're never going to get it, okay? You're never going to get it because there's always going to be percent error, even if there's going to be experimental error, even if it's just in the measurement, okay? And so also, very rarely, you're not going to come up with over 100% error. So if you over 100% yield. So if you come up with 100 plus yield, you probably got the thing backwards. Okay. All right. That's it.